Hello and welcome to the Miskatonic Playhouse. I'm T.A. Newman, your host. My team and I will be bringing to life cosmic tales using the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, which contains mature themes, horror, character death, and loss of sanity. Our mystery can be found in the Miskatonic repository, where people like you and me can write scenarios for other players. We're proud to have this episode of the Miskatonic Playhouse sponsored by the Storytelling Collective, who provide an excellent course on scenario writing, which many of the team have taken to help improve their writing skills. Our investigators find the festivities intensifying as Professor Goodall discovered the Krampus rhymes, and Lady Tillinforth and Andrew Rincewind find a lost soul chaperoned by the disgustingly charming Charles Dunnock. And our beloved reporter, Clarence Crofter, is caught between the horns of the beast Krampus itself and is torn in half, redecorating the dining hall in his lower intestines. Now it's time to glitter the tinsel and roll the dice. Keeper, the stage is yours. This horrific, horned, beast-like, hooved creature just kind of looks up. Merry Krampusnacht! There are people screaming, shouting, running around. I'm going to ask for 2 rolls from everybody with this specific moment that everybody's kind of there and witnessing. One, unsurprisingly, is a sanity roll.
That is a 63 out of 70.
Okay.
A 23 out of 33.
Oh,
I got a 46 out of 50. So
okay.
no success.
yeah. No, that's good. That's all good. Okay.
This happens at every Christmas party, I think. It's fine.
Yeah, at the point
We
where
were
people...
expecting this,
Yeah,
really.
yeah. Okay, so I'd like everybody to roll a d6, please. If everybody has succeeded, that is a d6 loss of sanity from their overall points.
That's the three points for me.
I rolled a 1.
I got a 1.
Oh, okay, right. Well, we're gonna have to up the sanity stakes, I think, as we go forward. Okay, you all have this moment. You all have this absolute innate terror. How you deal with it, whether you find there's an adrenaline rush to act, whether you find there's a moment where a weight sinks in your stomach. There, with that level of sanity, I'm gonna allow you to kind of decide that. But without question, individually, there is an absolute fear. This inhuman, unnatural beast has just appeared, not just appeared, has ripped itself through one of the other guests and then just attacked someone that you came in with, that you've spoken to this evening. Not a stranger, not someone on the other side of the room, someone you have spent time with, speaking to them, engaging with them, and being a part of their celebration as much as they've been a part of yours. The second roll I'd like you all to make whilst this incredible mayhem is happening is I'd like everybody to roll a spot hidden for me, please.
I got a 26 out of 50. If I spend 1 luck and make that a hard success.
I rolled a 5 out of 72, which I believe is an extreme success.
That is an extreme success.
Andrew has fought bears in the past, so this feels very similar. He knows where to look.
Okay. And Professor?
I'm screaming quite a lot, and no, I can't see anything because I rolled a 96 out of 60.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely, Professor. In fact, in that moment where Clarence is ripped in half, one of the arterial sprays actually just kind of dapples across your face, and that's the moment where you're almost kind of wiping at your own face there. Doing the old windscreen wipers on the glasses kind of thing, just to try and of the chaos that's going on. Lady Tillinforth, are you going to use that 1 point of luck to make it a hard success?
I did, yeah.
Okay. So the following moment I will describe is something that both Lady Tillinforth and Andrew Rincewind see together. And then there's something else that Andrew's going to see with your extreme success. what happens is you see the room up in riots. You see the arterial blood spray across the professor, who is kind of flapping at his own face. You see people getting up. You see chairs flying, glasses going, people screaming different directions, dresses, suits, waiters, staff, everybody disappearing. You notice that the mayor and a small contingent of the mayor's close, shall we say, social circle, they all dash very quickly out of the door that you came through, which led into the dining room, and back out that way, you assume. You see at the other end, the other double doors to from in the dining room that you're in, they run back out into the ballroom, apologies. The room that you're in, the dining room, on the other end, the door that you didn't come through, you actually notice, both of you, that the door is slightly open, and you can see someone's head peering in, watching the events. That is the face of Dr. Jonathan Breeze. You can also see, I would argue, with a hard success, and Andrew, this accounts for within your hard success leading up to your extreme success, you can see that Dr. Jonathan Breeze is looking on in fear. Now, with your extreme success, Andrew, you can see that as a lot of people run towards the exit that leads to the ballroom, one or two people are running towards the exit where Dr. Jonathan Breeze is, but you can still see that on the way to that door, there is the letter that sat in Dr. Jonathan Breeze's dinner place. It is still at the dinner table. It was unusual because he wasn't in the room, and he's now appeared at the side, poking his head through the door as this horrific scene unravels. But he looks shocked by what he is seeing. I'm going to give you all some free rein now. I would say that you've probably got one free movement, action, investigation, something you'd like to do before I'm going to kind of essentially enforce the horrific creature's actions before you.
How far are we from this horrific creature?
Probably about 12 to 14 foot away, but it is distracted by the, let's say, entrails of a certain Mr. Crofter.
I'm gonna have a look on the table and just see what's there. What cutlery's there? Is there like bottles of wine, champagne, anything like that?
Okay, so on the table before you, yes. So there is a full silver service out before you. You can see that there are steak knives, there are forks, there are spoons. There are glasses, there are, as you say, champagne bottles, wine bottles, anything that you would suspect to be in a high quality kind of silver service dinner is on the table. And if there's something that I haven't mentioned and you would like it, ask me and I'll let you know whether it's there.
I'm happy with a steak knife. I think Lady Cordelia is just going to pick up a steak knife. You know what? Why not? A fork as well. And is going to sort of just hold them out in front of her and start to back away from the beast.
Classic.
Any salt shakers? I feel like if anyone's into cold, salt throwing maybe.
Yeah, you can if you dare.
I'm not into. I have no cold. I have fiber cold. I have a lot of thoughts as a player, but I feel like Andrew wouldn't know any of this. He's probably gonna search for traps or something like that. I don't know.
He's gonna grab the pepper.
As a player, you've pointed out the letter as important, but as a character, like Andrew would see the letter and be like, "There's a monster right there. I'm not gonna go and read that letter."
Very true. And you can do whatever you want. You can, well, you have agency. I won't even suggest things.
I feel like I think Andrew, being an outdoorsman, would try to sneak out and get help because he's quite a stealthy man.
Okay.
And he has survival traps, so he doesn't need to slip on anything on his way out, I guess.
So in terms of sneaking out, tell me, for Andrew, is he going to sneak? There's two ways out of this room. You've got the doors that you came through, which seems to have quite a pile of people crowding around them, trying to get their way through, which leads out to the ballroom, which is where you were before with the Christmas tree and the dance floor. You have the double doors on the other side, which is where you saw Professor Jonathan Breeze. But there doesn't really seem to be anybody in the doorway now.
Yeah, and this is a big house, so I think I can kind of assume there's more than one exit, and actually piling up onto the crowd is not a smart idea. So I think Andrew is gonna look at Lady Tillinforth to like indicate we should like slip out the other way, so that we don't end up being massacred alongside the crowd. So then he's gonna start going that direction, but like careful to not attract the attention of the beast.
Are you trying? But you're trying to attract the attention of Lady Tillinforth.
Yeah, but not the beast.
Not the beast.
And Professor Goodall, if he's looking at us at this point, if he's still not rubbing his eyes, I'm not sure how I would do that.
I was just about to say, wouldn't that be quite wonderful if Andrew and Lady Tillinforth, they snuck out? Where's the professor? Oh, yeah.
Well, I was going to say that I'm fairly terrified, and I look around me, see the panic, people rushing here and there, and I dive underneath the table.
Oh, okay, right. Well, let's have some rolls there. Lady Tillinforth, do you kind of follow Andrew's lead and try and sneak out of the room?
Oh, I've got a torn now. The professor's jumped under the table. I don't know what to do. Do I
I'm
defend him?
going to
Do I
say
go?
you see both. Andrew, can you roll me a stealth roll as you're trying to sneak out of the room, please?
Yes.
Professor, can you roll me it's probably going to be stealth as well, actually, as you dive under the table.
I'm gonna dive under the table as well.
Oh man, now I feel bad. It's okay. I'll come back with reinforcements.
I got a 0.9 out of 40, which is one shy of an extreme.
Okay.
Nice.
I can spend luck if I really need to. But,
I think you could probably save you one luck there. You might need it later, but I do think that you are suitably able to just whip under the table. There's a flap of the tablecloth, and the professor is gone. Lady Tillinforth.
We may have a problem. I got a 92 over 30. I'm gonna do a push it. I mean, I'm gonna have to if it's failed.
Yes. Always push the roll.
Yes.
Nothing can go wrong.
So as she tries to get under the table, she bangs her head and falls backwards, and then quickly tries to, I guess, like scoot
Slide.
on all fours, sort of, legs first under the table, and we're gonna try again. 93, one worse.
Okay. So what I'm going to say is this then, actually, because I think there's more fun to be had here than just making noise. I think the push roll, the added element of danger there. Yeah, you kind of said banging the head and whatever. I think you've got a knife and a fork in your hand. I think as you're kind of going to jump, you realize you're not going to make it. So what you actually do, you think you're going to slip, you actually put your hands out in front of you to jump down.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to ask you to make just off the cuff, just as we're going. Could you roll a 1d4 for me, please, Lady Tillinforth?
Sure,
on an odd number, it's a fork that accidentally you stab yourself with. On an even number, it's the knife you accidentally stab yourself with.
Oh dear. Okay, it is an odd number. It's 1.
So it's the fork. Could you roll your 1d4 -1? I don't know the stats for a fork, so I'm going
2.
a little bit less than a knife, is what my instinct tells me.
Well, I imagine they're the big, silverware, quite long prongs. Would
not the carving fork.
Yeah, not the carving fork.
Why are you trying to make this worse, Mike? Why are you trying to make this worse? Well, I got a 2, and if that's -1, then that'll be 1 damage.
Okay. So what you do is you see the professor, well, no, you tell me. You see the professor dive under the table. You dive under too, but you end up jabbing yourself with a fork as you go under. What does that look like?
It goes into chest, just under. Doesn't quite pierce the lung, but she stifles a scream. She holds her hand over her face and like.
And Professor, you've just seen Lady Tillinforth dive under the table next to you and stab herself with a fork as she did so.
Crikey!
He says, attracting all the attention that you managed to pay.
You've got a fork in you.
What the devil are you doing? I will try and assist as best I can underneath the table while chaos reigns. And I guess I'm looking at my first aid. I will use my mighty first aid of 30 to try and extract the fork without doing more damage.
Let's have it. I hope this is a push
roll. Yeah, I rolled a 12 out of 30.
Nice.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of put your hand over there and then kind of, pop the fork out. There's a bit of a stifled grunt, but in doing so, you haven't drawn a serious amount of attention, because rather than slamming into the table or screaming in this, the professor slid under, tablecloth flapped down. Lady Tillinforth's gone to do the same thing, ended up putting a fork in her ribs. And the good professor has just kind of removed the fork. So after that incredibly wonderful kerfuffle, you've quite successfully hid under a table. But you have lost a hit point and stabbed yourself with a fork.
Could be worse.
There's also a bit of a reputational thing there that you're gonna regret in the future as well.
It wasn't even like a starter fork; it was like a main course fork. She's really embarrassed.
Yeah, it was picking up the wrong fork was the significant.
Should have been a salad fork, but it wasn't.
Andrew, you've remind me, what was your roll on sneaking out of the room?
41 out of 60, so normal success.
Okay, as you sneak out of the room, and you do quite successfully get out of the room, you hear
Do I hear any grunts coming from under the table on my way out?
I'm going to say no, because if you hear them, then somebody else hears them. But as you sneak out of the room, you find yourself in a corridor. The corridor is you can kind of see that there's the outside wall in front of you, so it's kind of a wall, but you can see down the far end there's another room down there, but to your left you can see that there's stairs that are going up. You see, as those stairs are going up, just as you come out, you can see Dr. Jonathan Breeze is going up those stairs.
Okay. I look back, I realize that Lady Tillinforth hasn't followed me. I give myself a face palm, and then I start going after Dr. Breeze, saying, Dr. Breeze! Dr. Breeze!
And yeah, you can follow him. You can follow him upstairs. As you kind of run upstairs, you see the stairs kind of they go up, they turn, and then they go up again, leading to the floor. As you arrive on the top floor, it's actually quite impressive, and also a little bit scary, because what you're able to see is, as you go up, that on the top floor there is a balcony. You run out to the top of the stairs and you see a big open space before you. There's some weird statue of a man. There's a couple of portraits. There's a few rooms, and the rooms are actually there's like the gold lettering on the doors that kind of let you know the different rooms up here. But you see that the professor is there, and he's kind of backing off, and in the wide space before you, before the kind of the U shape of rooms, and if you're very welcome to look at the names of the rooms as you would, but the professor is before you, and he kind of backs up, and he's standing at the balcony now, looking down. From the big open space on the floor before you, you can see that the gallery area that you're in, the space before you, which is quite open, that is essentially the below you would be the dining room, where the balcony is that looks down onto the ballroom, where you had drinks and Christmas and dances earlier. And the professor is now standing up against, he's holding the railing. And he's kind of like turning around and seeing. He's just going, I'm so sorry. I did. It's all God. I just want this. And he just looks like a bit of a mess.
Surely, what are you doing? We should get out of here.
We can't get out of here. I've made
You've made. Are you saying you did this? How?
He got a nods like really quickly, and there's tears coming from his eyes now.
Just tell me, what do we do? How could we have to stop it? There are people dying.
He kind of sinks to the floor, holding his knees. He's and there is a railing around the balcony, and that's what he's kind of sitting on. On the other side of him, down below, you can now see a number of people running through there, almost running through. You can see them across the dance floor, running out as if they're heading towards the actual exit of the building. He kind of takes his bag and just kind of pushes it a little bit towards you.
I'll take that. Yep.
Just as he's doing that, we're just going to jump back down to the professor and Lady Tillinforth. You two under the table. The tablecloth is kind of pulled down around you, so it's kind of there. You hear more than anything, and this doesn't require a listen roll immediately, but I am going to ask you to make a listen roll to see what you hear beyond this immediate sound. So if Lady Tillinforth and the professor could make a listen roll, that would be fantastic.
59 out of 65, so yeah, just a pass.
Okay. And Lady Tillinforth?
35 out of 40, so pass.
Okay. So you initially hear this almost like a breathing. And it's this almost kind of rhythmic and then you hear these heavy hooves, and you can hear it stepping on broken crockery and glass and things just moving on this wooden floor. And you can hear it walking past your chair, and past the table that you're in, and you kind of see one of the overturned chairs being kicked across the room. And for a moment, there's an absence of silence. But with your successes, you can hear that it's stopped breathing in its normal sense because it is smelling the air. You hear from the doors leading to the dining room more of a scream and people running. At that point, the hooves start racing off towards that area. The screams explode. Andrew, you see from above down the balcony, you see people screaming and not only just running towards the exit, but diving under chairs, hiding behind a Christmas tree, standing in fear, people just exiting as fast as they can through that area. You actually see behind you as well, Andrew, is the mayor and 2 or 3 of his compatriots. They run across the room. They completely ignore you and Dr. Jonathan Breeze, and they go to an office, open it, the door slams behind them, and it locks. Lady Tillinforth and Professor, this beast of a creature is no longer in the room that you are in.
I will verify that. I will. I'll say to Lady Cordelia, I will just check, and I will kind of look out from under the table to check that, fully imagining the creature to be face to face with me, but I can see that it's, not there.
Yeah.
And say, quick, come.
Yes.
And as we can hear the screams from over there towards the ballroom, I look and I see the other doors on the side, and it's right. And I kind of help you along. I'm still clutching the fork, the bloody fork, and then I guess we make our way to the doors unless Lady Cordelia decides to do something other than that.
The only thing I do is on the way up, I'll grab like a thick napkin and I'll press it to my side so I'm not like dripping blood, leaving a blood trail. I'm like holding it to my side and
Well, the good news is it's a proper, cotton napkin. It's not like a paper thing. It's a you're at a proper Christmas party here, not just a McDonald's.
Lady Cordelia
napkin.
wouldn't have chosen a paper napkin. She's gone for the
one of the curtains. But no, you're able to kind of get that. Brilliant. So you go out of the room. You see what Andrew saw. You see to the right of you, there's a corridor that kind of goes around and extends. But to the left of you, there are stairs that lead up.
Okay. Oh, can I grab the lump of coal and put it in my pocket as we leave the room?
You can grab your lump of coal. Absolutely.
I have it might be useful.
Yeah.
Okay. So
actually,
which way? I say, panicked like.
Are we going to hide? Where did Mr. Rincewind go?
I don't know.
Let's go into one of these rooms. We need to try and find ourselves something to defend ourselves with.
Well, the monster's down there. Why don't we go up there? Maybe an exit up there.
Okay. Yes. Let's just get out of here.
We'll trample up the stairs.
Brilliant. So you run up the stairs. You see Mr. Rincewind standing there. Before Mr. Rincewind is the balcony. There is Dr. Jonathan Breeze, who's sitting there, bag kind of in one hand, sliding it over to Andrew Rincewind. You just catch the door to an office slamming and closing and locking as well. But just
have I been looking inside the bag this whole time? I feel like I've been holding that bag for a while for them to climb up all the stairs.
Almost things happening at the same time rather than just hold that bag for a second and we'll be right back. So these things kind of happening at the same time. Okay. What I'm going to do though, because they've come up the stairs, they have actually spooked Dr. Jonathan Breeze. So I'm going to ask you for a contested strength roll on this, because he's giving the bag to you. You've got the bag, and he was kind of sliding it over to you in a panic state, but they've just come up the stairs, and now he's had a moment of absolute kind of sheer panic with them coming up. So could you give us a strength roll, please?
Sure. That's a success.
Can I ask what your success was, please? By how much? I rolled a 9.
Oh no, I have strength 85. This is ridiculous. I rolled a 75 out of 85.
Okay. So what's going to happen is this. What's going to happen? Okay. What's going to happen is he's sliding the bag over to you. They come up. There's a moment of panic. He pulls the bag back. Because you did actually succeed on this, and he was handing you the bag, you're going to grab the card chew out of the bag, but he is going to claim back the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At which point he is then going to run immediately to his left and into a room which you can see stenciled on the thing. It says surveyor's office. It's just kind of part of the Holmouth town planning, etc. But
this is Professor Breeze running into the town planner's office.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
So do we see this kind of bit of altercation, and then we see him run away with the bag into the office?
You do.
Are we near enough to kind of tackle him, stop him? Kind of, because obviously all we've seen is that Andrew has been in a bit of a tussle with him. Therefore,
yeah. Okay. Let's have a dex roll. Why not? Let's do a dex roll.
Go, Professor.
Yeah.
Man of action.
I say, stop that man, and I dive forward and fall flat on my face about 6 feet away. I rolled a 96 out of 30, so I just bang to the floor, nowhere near him.
Almost tackles yourself.
Yeah.
Excellent. Lady Tillinforth, did you attempt to tackle? You're seeing a weird moment. You're seeing a doctor run away and a professor challenge the doctor running away. These two academic educated men, one running in fear and one saying, "Stop that man!" It's it's a quite a sight.
How would she react? I don't know. I think her first thing.
I think Andrew would also say he did this apparently, like as he's running away.
Oh, okay, in that case, then she's probably going to act. Yeah, so she's going to try and not tackle him. He's probably bigger than her. She's going to try and like just stab him in the leg with the steak knife.
Whoa!
You still have the knife.
I still got the knife. Yeah.
Okay.
Not to mortally wound him, just to stop him from running.
Well, let's hope we don't get a failed push roll, shall we? Okay, let's have a brawl roll, shall we? Yeah, fighting brawl.
I'm not great at this.
As I see you with a knife, I'm going to say, I don't think on purpose, though.
Well, you might be safe. I got an 81 out of 25, but I mean, I'm going to push that because. Oh well, what would be the consequences of me failing this push roll?
It depends on how much you failed by and how funny it is. I think.
Well,
Don't kill him.
If your intention is to just poke him in the leg with a knife, and you're about to push it, it might not be the leg that you poke with the knife. I would say would be the failure of a push.
Well, the chances of me getting a fatal wound on him. You know,
famous last words.
What is it, like a D4 or something? Let's.
I think let's roll the push and see. Let's roll the push and see. I don't want to give you information beforehand.
52 failed it anyway, so it's going to bounce back on me now.
Okay. Yeah, you stab yourself in the leg. You trip over the professor who dived on the floor in front of you. In fact, that's exactly what happens. That's not you stabbing yourself, by the way, but that is exactly what happens. You see Dr. Jonathan Breeze get up, begin to run. Andrew goes, "Stop him, he started this." The professor goes, "Stop that man," and dives on the floor. Lady Tillinforth, you trip over the professor, and you end up I think what's going to happen is you attempted to just kind of stab the professor in the leg, I think you said.
Yeah.
The professor,
not the
the
doctor.
doctor.
Sorry, not the professor. Apologies. The doctor. Just you sort of stabbed the doctor in the leg to stop him from kind of running away. Yeah, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is the doctor is Dr. Jonathan Breeze, that is opening the door now to the surveyor's room, opens the door, and as he gets to the door handle, pushes the door open, you trip, and you end up putting your knife through his hand, pinning it to the actual door itself. So rather than just casually just kind of stopping him, you pin his hand to the door, you slam it closed, but it looks like a really savage wound. This is not just like oh, good, he's pinned to the door, he'll stay there, that's really helped me out. This is not helping your relations with this individual, I would argue, but also it is a hell of a wound. I know we've all seen films where people get stabbed in the hand. I'm not convinced it's that easy.
Yeah, but the professor's great at first aid, so
yeah,
we'll sort this out.
So Lady Tillinforth, you stab Jonathan Breeze through the hand, pinning him to the door. In fact, you pin the door open to the wall. It's gone through his hand, through the door, and into the wall. So the surveyor's office is open.
Andrew once again looks back at Lady Tillinforth and face palms for the second time in a few minutes.
Yeah.
And then he shows them the card that he managed to pick up from the bag. This is probably important. He puts it on the floor so that the smart people can look at it. And then he goes to where the mayor went and starts knocking on the door and being like, "We need help here."
Do you open the tube itself?
No, I left it for them to do it because they're more academic than I am. Excellent. I'm more of a man of a...
And then you did what? Sorry, then you went where?
I went to the door of the room where the mayor and the rest of them have locked themselves in and started knocking and being like, "We need help here."
You immediately hear a voice back going, "Is the thing gone from the beast? Is it gone? Have you gotten rid of it?"
"It's not here. We need weapons. We need something. We don't know this place. Come help us."
"Well, the phones aren't bloody working. Look, go out, get the police, and then come back."
"Do you have weapons in here? Somewhere?"
We don't have enough to share."
"Well, you're clearly not doing anything, so just give some to me."
"We're not opening this door, I'm afraid." "Don't." And then you hear you can hear movement in there, and then you hear the mayor turn and say to somebody else, "Don't you bloody move. We are not opening that door. Sit down."
Andrew's gonna break the door, thus earning the name Bull.
Ooh, about time. We needed a name. Yeah, okay. Okay. Give me a break that door down roll. Which you can either use.
Can I do
strength or accounting? It's up to you.
Okay. Well, I have an accounting of 5 and a strength of 85, so I'm gonna go with accounting.
Let's have it.
I rolled an 87 out of 85. Would I need a hard success for this?
These aren't flimsy doors. This is a very old, well built, hard wooden door, kind of place, and this is the mayor's office. Yeah.
Can I push it somehow? Is there like a chair that I can pick up and use, or can I walk further back and just ram into it?
I'm going to give you some information, and then you can tell me if you'd like to push it.
Okay.
So you charge the door like the bull you are and slam into the door with your shoulder, and the door, you feel it rattle on its hinges and in its frame. And then from the other side, you hear a clicking of a gun.
So you do have weapons.
Leave now. If you break that down, you're not leaving here alive. Back off.
All right then.
And you just
hear that changes things.
You hear some low level kind of like whispering, almost kind of like, what's that? What is that? You sit there, don't you bloody go. And there's
government.
Oh, red tape.
Just don't want to make anything happen.
Can't even open a door with red tape these days.
Bureaucracy.
Okay, so Andrew has slammed the mayor's door. The mayor has clicked a gun and said, don't you even dare open it, which you can attempt if you'd like to, but you are aware there may be some consequences. Lady Tillinforth has essentially impaled Dr. Jonathan Breeze's hand to a door and to a wall. The professor is probably getting off the floor and seeing the carnage. There is a tube from the doctor's bag on the floor as well, but also the doctor has his bag and is pinned to a door/wall at the moment, unable to escape.
As I'm already on the floor and the tube is being kicked, in my direction, I will stay on the floor and try and open the tube and see what's within, because everyone else seems to have got the situation under control.
Really? is that right?
According to the
one thing I can do is look at paperwork. I'm really good at
that. You scramble, you get the card tube without even getting off the floor, sitting up, anything, just lying on the floor. You pull out this this sheet of paper, and what you are able to pull out is this document, which if you would, Professor, try and describe or read any of the text that you might be able to read.
There's a picture of, well, it looks like a dark goat with big horns, but it could be some sort of stylized version of this beast. And there's various sort of scrawls of writing on it, and there's some other kind of marks below that I can't quite make up. There's a yellow circle with a black line through it, and the text in no particular order says, "She's in my dreams. It's the eyes. I have seen them. The goat's eyes. She is the mother of all. She watches over us." And then really small text, something about Berlin, return the Obsidian Foundation. Never heard of them. The writing, very old, possibly even arcane in origin, mythologically adjacent to the expected tales and myths. This incurs the attention of the Black Goat, the mother of 1,000 young, ? More reveals, or is more, something is needed to understand. And then read the spell to enter solitude, read it backwards to return to the world. Shub-nigara, the horror, something. Shub-nigara, goat's eyes watching me from the inside out. It makes clearly perfect sense. Can I make an occult roll to see if I understand any of that?
You absolutely can. You absolutely can.
I actually have a mythos of 7 as well, so I kind of do a dual roll, see if I get lower. No, I roll really badly and fail all of that really, really badly.
Okay. So on your first kind of glance at this and your first engagement with this, and these are even with a failed roll, you can see that these are the scrawlings. These are the notes. These are the annotations. This is the mind spilled out rather than any actual arcane documentation itself. So you can see that. So there's no there's no immediate exposure here to something that could fundamentally change how you see the world. But you are reading the notes of someone who currently is in your vicinity, because this was the wrapped up notes that he had in his card tube. So you have the Dr. Jonathan Breeze before you pinned to the wall. You see the professor reading these scrawled notes. Lady Tillinforth, what do you do?
I think Lady Cordelia is going to go on a bit of a charm offensive here, and she's going to be like, "Oh, I'm dreadfully sorry. I'm dreadfully sorry. I didn't mean to stab your hand. I was merely trying to stop you so that we could talk to you."
His eyes have essentially rolled back in his head at this point. He's sagged, and his hand is pinned to the wall. It's actually hanging there. He's almost pulling down on it. The knife is almost kind of beginning to slowly cut through the hand even further as his weight pulls down. And with his eyes rolled back in his head, he is muttering words to himself. He's speaking, but he's not speaking to you. And the words he's muttering are, "Mother of 1,000 young, Aya Flamma, Magira Stup Hupabraskav, Miakram, Alefram, you have blessed me with your firstborn, Aya Flamma. Please forgive me for what I've wrought upon my beloved town. Forgive me. I have your words upon my person. I dare not use them again for fear I will lose myself entirely." And he's just dropping to the floor, just eyes rolled back, kind of clearly in a state of shock and tears. And I'm gonna ask you to make me a psychology roll, please.
That is a 91 out of 45.
You guys know you can roll below 40, right? That's a
thing. Oh, we can. Oh, brilliant.
just in case you weren't sure. Okay, so yeah, you can't really deduce anything about his intention, his mental state. You can just see that he is incredibly panicked, worried, distressed. You know, you can see that this is someone who is clearly in a state of extreme shock. Doesn't look like someone who has all of their faculties, you would argue, Lady Tillinforth.
Andrew would like to turn around and talk to Lady Tillinforth, say, "The mayor has weapons in there and they've shut themselves in there, refusing to talk to us. I don't know what to do. They're threatening to kill me. Can you please talk to them? You know these people, they'll trust you. I can take care of what you've done there."
Yes, I can certainly try, my dear. And as she turns, she takes could you try and pull the knife out the wall to take it with her?
I can do that with first aid. I can try and do that with first aid.
I was just going to take the knife.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure, that won't hurt him more.
She's more worried about her personal safety than she is about his well-being at this point.
Okay, so who's going to pull the knife out of the wall?
I'm going to give it a go.
All right. I think what I'm hoping is this is going to be a strength check that is failed and then pushed and then failed again. That's what I'm really
Don't push
hoping.
it,
I think the whole slapstick nature of what's going on, I might have learned my lesson with these push rolls, but let's give it a go and see what happens.
Let's not.
Right. So strength check, that's 57 out of 45. I'm just going to leave the knife in there, and then I'm going to sort of head over to the mayor's room.
Okay. Well, that is a fail. So that's unfortunately that's not a case where we can go, "Do you know what? I'm just going to leave it."
Can I push it for her?
Do you know what? We've done this before, and I actually really like this where we join in. But that does mean if you push it for Lady Tillinforth and you fail the pushed roll, then the pushed consequence falls on your shoulders.
Yep. If I fail again for the third time, an 85% roll, I might as well jump off the balcony.
But if you succeed on this, the mayor's door pops open at the same time if you get it right. Go for it. Pull the knife.
All right, out of 85. I rolled a 97.
Oh, okay.
Andrew just jumps off the balcony. Goodbye.
Do you know what?
It's ridiculous.
Okay. Lady Tillinforth, you're standing there, aren't you?
Yeah,
Professor, you're still kind of lying on the floor reading the scroll. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm kind of reading it out, and yeah, I'm about to, I'm about to get up and get in the face of Breeze, but yes, but before that happens. Yeah.
Okay, so Andrew, Andrew, you go up to the knife on the hand, and you grab the you grab the knife. You can only grab it with one hand because it's only like a steak knife. It is really Lady Tillinforth, bloody hell, how did she get this through the hand, through the door, and into the wall? She is, just, I mean, that in itself needs a sanity roll. But you grab the knife and you're about to pull it from, and just as you kind of brace your legs and you get yourself ready, you put one hand on Dr. Jonathan Breeze's arm to brace his arm. So when you pull the knife, his arm stays there. But what you fail to take into account is that his hand was stabbed a while ago. There has been some blood running down the door. There is a small pool at your feet. And as you go to pull the knife, your feet just go from under you. You let go with the wrong hand. You let go of the knife, but you hold on to Dr. Jonathan Breeze and you pull his arm down as you slip into his pool of blood, and you rip the knife up through his hand between his two middle fingers, and you cleave his hand essentially in half, and he just screams, lets out this almighty scream, which I'm not going to lie is very loud and very hearable. I'm pretty sure hearable is a word by anybody within this town hall. I'm sure there's nobody in this building you don't want to know where you are, but this scream is a real, and blood just spatters everywhere. You drop on the floor. You're lying in Dr. Jonathan Breeze's blood. He's now holding his hand, he's going pale. Blood is just pooling out of his hand. He is in a very bad state medically. I'm just going to put that out there. But considering the state of your rolls, I have no doubt he'll be fine in a very short period of time. So Dr. Jonathan Breeze, he lands on his bag. He's still kind of got his bag. Andrew, you're lying in a pool of blood, holding his now ripped in half kind of hand. Collectively, what do you do?
At this point, I'm getting up, bringing the scroll with me over towards him. As I do, this happens. He's kind of falls to the floor, split hand, screaming, and I'm just going to stand there going, and this is the consequences of playing with the powers of darkness.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm going to just try my best to kind of patch him together with whatever I have on me. Andrew's going to take his good shirt off that is like loaned and he has to give back, but it's too late now. He's gonna try to wrap his hand up as much as he can, and while apologizing profusely at the same time.
Okay, I think we can definitely take a first aid on that in this immediate instance. Lady Tillinforth, how are you reacting to this? I think there is probably a moment here where, I don't know, do we need a sanity roll on someone's hand being ripped? I'll tell you what, I'll probably take a constitution roll, if that's okay from everybody.
Okay.
Not quite sure it's sanity worthy. It might be for some people, but it's definitely.
I rolled a 73 out of 70. I am not doing well.
Phaedra, I've never seen you roll so bad. This is outstanding. Professor, what did you roll?
I got a 45 out of 60, so regular success.
You've seen some horrible things in your research, and you've read about some disgusting things, and you're so angry at this point that he has, as you said, he's meddled in the dabbled in darkness, and this is what he bloody gets. Lady Tillinforth?
I got a 33 out of 50, so a regular success.
Okay, so Andrew, as you whip your shirt off in a heroic manner, buttons popping all over the place, you wrap it around the hand, and as you kind of like tighten that, you actually hear the knuckles and the bones just kind of kind of pop and slide as you kind of wrap it around. And there is a moment, Andrew, where unfortunately for you, you are sick in your own mouth. It wasn't a significant constitution failure, so you are able to kind of swallow it back down. Bit of a burn in the throat, but you are able to tie this. Oh, did we get a first aid roll? Did we get a result on that?
Let me do it. No.
This is where I just
24 out of 30.
Hey!
Wow, success.
Merry
Yay.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
So on that, you are actually able to tie it round. Now you can see relatively quickly that the blood is soaking through the shirt, but you have, as best as you can at this point, tied and a tourniquet, just really kind of put a huge amount of pressure on the hand, holding it together after you successfully ripped it in half. You always talk to clean up your own messes, so this is a good move. And there you are, you're standing there. The building itself seems to go into relative quiet. It seems for a moment, as Dr. Jonathan Breeze doesn't pass out, but he does go weak. He does go a bit wide-eyed, almost kind of looking past you as opposed to looking at you. But as you notice his quiet compress, you notice that the sound across the whole building. Now you are kind of half in and half out of the surveyor's office here. Some of you are kind of on these wider space. And do you know what? Because you've had such fantastic luck, and I'm really enjoying seeing what luck you have, I wouldn't call this a freebie. I'd call this a Christmas present. Could you all just give me a quick spot hidden?
Which we all fail massively.
I'm really hoping someone succeeds.
Hard success.
Oh, thank
Hard
God for
success
that.
also. Just
I got
a
fail.
hard success.
Okay, Merry Christmas, guys. What you see, the side of the surveyor's office wall that you're kind of half standing in, you see some blueprints. You see blueprints from the surveyor's office of the town hall. There are two sets. You can see one set which has the balcony and the surveyor's office, which is kind of where you're standing on that doorway now. And then you can see the other set, which is the downstairs ground, which you can see as the entrance that you led in, and then the other rooms. There are a number of rooms, and they are all listed. They are all detailed. And now you can actually see that the golden lettering that you've seen on a few of the doors, it's now actually quite obvious where all these rooms are. I'm gonna... No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you with that. That's your Christmas present. So you
So there's no other floor. It's just this one floor.
Two floors. They are quite significant in their scaling. You don't see there's any listing for a basement. You don't see there's any roof plans or anything like that. Not saying that there isn't, but that's essentially what you see. What you do recognize though, or what you've seen in the architecture of this building is their high ceilings. This is an old building with really grandized, you're looking at not small ceilings, these are really big, grandiose rooms. So even though this is a 2-story building, you probably could have snuck in a third if you were being a bit cheap with your leveling here. So it's quite a beautifully large building. Probably will need a bit of touching up after this evening, but as you stand inside the surveyor's office, you have a semi-conscious professor, or doctor, should I say. You have a professor. You have the doctor's bag. You have the mayor hidden in a room to the side. What's it you'd like to do?
Can I have a good occult. I have some Cthulhu mythos. I'm aware that there are such things as spells, but whether I believe they work or not doesn't matter. But this guy clearly has been meddling with the powers of darkness, and he's mentioned some sort of spell. So I'm going through his bag looking for this spell as I'm shouting at him, going, "Where's the spell? How did you do this? Where's the spell, you fool?"
Okay. Yes, you do, don't you? Okay. So what we're going to have is, as you go through his bag, you see a number of things. You can see loose pens. You can see some blank paper in there for making signs and things. You can actually see that there is a business card, one that is not too unfamiliar.
Obsidian Foundation business card. Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay.
And you also find, very much as you're looking for, a almost like a cloth that is folded over itself a number of times, with a very kind of pristine silver clip on it. And as you take the clip off and you unfold this cloth before you, you find this old text. That is what you find.
Oh, that looks like I read you. That's a spell.
You you might surmise that is a spell.
Can I make a mythos roll to see if I work that out, I guess, to some degree?
You absolutely can indeed. And just to describe what the professor is holding here, it's a old dappled spell, very worn, aged paper. It has the yellow symbol with the black line on it a number of times, and another unusual arcane symbol with a centralized column of text, which I could attempt to read out and embarrass myself, and may well do in a minute. Let's see what your roll is first, please, Professor.
Okay, I completely screw up the roll, but the one thing I think I do comprehend is now I see these yellow circles with this line through. I now realize what I'm looking at is goat's eyes.
Okay.
Looking at me from this page, the goat, the black goat of the woods.
I'm going to ask you to make a power roll, please, Professor.
Oh, that's quite a low power, isn't it? That's why I rolled a 93 out of 40.
Okay, excellent. Right, well, there's a moment here as the professor's reading this, in fact, Professor, I'm going to ask you very annoyingly to read the first 3 paragraphs as I speak over the top of you, please. So the professor picks up the notes. He looks at the spell before him, and as he does, his eyes widen. And he repeats these words out loud. Andrew and Lady Tillinforth, you turn, and you see the professor reading these words. And as he does, you both begin to have thoughts and images appear in your mind. It's as if a vision appears to you. And the words that are being read aloud, you see an echo, a shimmer happening. But it almost as if it ripples out from the spell and expands across the building as the spell's being read. So even though the words weren't perhaps understood, there was a moment where the professor just lost autonomy for a moment and began reading those words, and you can see there was an effect. I'm going to leave you with that for a minute and wait for the next failed push roll on whatever it may be.
What's going on? What's going on? I'm holding this scroll, and I guess I wasn't me for a moment, and I
and you almost have it. You have a moment where you know that you read that out, but you know that you didn't intend to read it.
It's cursed. It's cursed. The words must be spoken. I am resisting. Ah!
Could I slap the professor in the face and just say, you told that young man not to play with black magic, and now you're doing it yourself. What are you doing, man?
Lady Tillinforth, we have to get into the mayor's office. There's a man dying in there. I'm sure they have a doctor in there. It's okay. We don't have to slap him. I can just take the piece of paper. Stop using violence to solve all your problems.
Where's that fork?
Stop
trying to stab everyone, including yourself.
Look here on the poster, the sheet, the notes. It says to read the spell backwards.
I'll take both papers from him.
No, you can't. You don't know what you're doing.
I'm gonna hold on to them. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. I'm just gonna.
As you say the words, "It's going to be okay," you hear a voice. It's coming out from the corridor. In fact, I'm going to ask you all to make me a quick listen roll to see if you can discern where this noise is coming from, and then I will explain the noise.
Well, I only have 70, so I don't expect a success.
Can you remind me? All zeros, good or bad?
Bad.
All zeros is a 100.
Oh dear.
What's the chances of me rolling all zeros as well? Because that's what I did.
Seriously.
What? No.
I rolled a 67 out of 70.
Guys and girls at home.
Oh my
Christmas blessing.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. This is just.
What are the odds?
They're very high. I'm not a mathematician, so I'm just going to
Very
stick
high,
with my
very
statement
low,
of very low odds. In fact, yeah, very high. I just declared I was not
For our group,
not a
probably
mathematician.
very high.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. For our group, it's just fair game. Wow. Okay. 2 100s on a listen roll. You both go.
I got a success.
Okay. One success. Okay.
Are we just shouting at each other while this is...
So that's exactly what's happening. Yeah. See exactly what happens. Andrew takes both sheets, takes the notes from Dr. Jonathan Breeze on the spell, and the spell you now have. You have them both in your hands. So Andrew, just before I describe what the other two are doing and what happens, what are you doing with those? Are you reading them? Are you looking at them? Are you putting them away?
I'm just holding on to them because I am counting on Lady Cordelia getting into the mayor's office so we can get some help.
Okay. Can you?
I just want everyone to just stop messing things up for one damn second.
The mayor has a gun, for God's sake. Could you give me a power roll, please?
Just for holding on to them, huh?
I'm afraid so. Professor and Lady Tillinforth, you begin literally barking over the top of each other. You know, the Professor, what is it that you're barking at Lady Tillinforth, saying?
I'm not quite sure. Mainly, the spell. I'm just going on about the spell. The spell. To reverse the spell, it must be spoken backwards. It must, but it's cursed. If you look at the spell, it will make you read it. It's just too much.
And Lady Tillinforth, what can I ask are you doing?
She's saying, like, you're talking nonsense, man. You're talking nonsense. You need to calm down. Calm down. There's a thing out there. It's trying to kill us.
So as you're both saying that, neither of you hear what Andrew hears. You hear, Andrew, just this sickening voice. And you can hear that it's getting closer. You can almost hear it echoing up the stairs. Krampusnacht und Krampusnacht. And it's getting closer up the stairs. Where are you, my little naughty boys and girls? And it's getting.
Can I hear the like?
Yeah, you can hear the clomp of hooves, but a slow. Kind of coming up the stairs. It's moving closer.
Okay.
These two are making a hell of a noise.
Honestly, you both are just holding me back. I'm so surprised. Come on.
She takes the fork and the knife.
I look at Lady Tillinforth briefly. Is she looking anywhere near trying to convince the mayor to let us in?
She's arguing
She's
with
even
the
gearing
professor.
up.
It's
no.
next on her list. She's just trying to.
She's not hearing you. She's not hearing anything. All she's hearing in this moment is the professor saying, "It's the spell. It's the spell, and you've got to read it backwards to undo whatever the thing is, and it'll make you." And Lady Tillinforth is just absolutely opposing everything the professor is saying right now.
Okay, I passed my power roll for 32 out of 50, which is great. So I hold on to this.
Yeah.
I feel a weird tingling. I don't care. I'm like, well, I guess I have to do this now. I don't care if I get shot. I say it's coming, and then I ran with all my might onto the door from wherever I am just to get in there to the mayor's office and get those guns.
Thank you for joining us for Act 3 of Secret Santa by T.A. Newman, now available as print on demand. And thanks to our sponsors of this production, The Storytelling Collective, about which you can find out more on our website, www.miskatonicplayhouse.com. and find us on the social media platforms with the links found in the show notes. If you would be so kind as to gift us this Christmas, you could rate this podcast and write a review to help like-minded fans find and enjoy the Miskatonic Playhouse. It only takes a minute and makes a huge difference. Until next time, when the curtain rises again.
Hello, my name is Phaedra. I'm a member of the Miskatonic Playhouse and a founder of The Stars Are Right, and I'm here to talk about the Storytelling Collective. I've done the course 2 times now. The first time I published the lovely Good Vibes Only that has, yes, made it to print on demand. And the second time I published The Castle of Greed. That was just this last go. And honestly, I've never published without the Storytelling Collective. It has been an amazing help to get me to actually do the thing. So if you're like me, you need some help, some advice, some community to get you going. You have all the ideas in your head, but you kind of struggle getting it down there, sitting down and just writing. I heartily recommend it. And of course, there's this wonderful Storytelling Collective bundle that can help you get so many sales. So if you're wondering if it's worth the money and the time, I can guarantee you it is. Check out the Storytelling Collective. Check out Good Vibes Only and The Castle of Greed. And thank you for watching.